I want to talk to you guys about a interaction I had with Officer Watkins, badge number 192. I had a not really an interaction. I had an interaction with him before on a stop. Basically, he stopped a lady for some type of vehicle violation. As far as I was concerned, I didn't see anything he did wrong. And I mentioned that because he said he dealt with me before in the conversation. So it really wasn't much of a interaction before. But let me also say, I have no evidence whatsoever that says that Officer Watkins, badge number 192, is a bad cop. I have no evidence of this. And I'm stating this because you'll hear me in this video talk about bad cops, hating bad cops. So let me clarify that. I have no evidence of this officer being a bad officer. So the other night I was out and about. It might have been around the 1st. Hello? Hello?
Hi, this is Josh calling in
Stop
from
calling me. I keep asking you people to stop calling me. Stop calling me. I don't want your product. I don't want your products. Stop calling me.
Which product?
Stop
Which
calling
product
me.
are you talking about?
Stop calling me.
Which product are you talking about?
Stop calling me.
What this is?
Stop calling me.
Not regarding.
Stop calling me.
What?
Stop calling me.
Starting, man.
Stop calling me.
Well,
Stop calling me.
I really apologize for the inconvenience.
Okay, yes, thank you. Stop calling me.
I'll make sure you do.
I don't want their products. I'm sorry about that, but I've told these guys, they have different companies in India calling trying to push their products. And I'm tired. I've been asking them to take me off their list, and they won't. But I digress. I stopped at an individual that was stopped in Taco Bell's lot. I could have pulled in Taco Bell's lot also, but I chose to pull in McDonald's lot to give a little distance away from the stop. During the last stop I was a part of with Officer Watkins, I was across the street. It really wasn't no dialect that I needed to hear on that first stop that I was involved in with him. So I stayed across the street. So when I attempt to move closer from time to time, it's to hear what the officer is saying, to hear if he's lying to the individual, to see if he's trying to violate his rights one way or the other. That's why I end up trying to move closer to hear what the officer is saying. So I went to my initial position, and I couldn't quite hear as well as I wanted to hear, so I decided to take a few steps forward. Because what I can do is, once I start to edit my video, I can increase the volume and hear that way. But I knew I needed to take a few steps forward for the edit to work to his max potential. Then he yells over to me, "Don't come any closer." And I said, "Look, man, go ahead and continue on doing what you're doing. There's no need for you guys to talk to me when I'm far enough away from you guys not to interfere. There's no reason for you guys to talk to me whatsoever." And I've stated several cases before that acknowledges my right to be closer than I actually am for the most part. So that always kind of gets under my skin to a certain extent. Look, man, do what you're doing over there. So I then hear him state to the individual that was stopped that he's more concerned about me than he is him. And that really got under my skin because the majority of the police officers out there, they know me. Matter of fact, he states to me during the conversation that one of the young police officers in training asked him, "Hey, have you ever ran into Mr. Jackson?" And well, by the way, I have. And so on and so forth. So the fact that in some aspect, in my opinion, I felt he was trying to criminalize me. I'm not a criminal. I've never robbed anybody in my life. I've never robbed a store. I've never robbed a person. I've never burglarized anything. I've never many criminal acts out there. I've never done criminal acts. Back in the day, many years ago, one of the reasons that I'm out here, I was victimized by the law enforcement for visiting a house 2 days prior to a warrant that was served. And for all the property that they found in that house was actually, I was charged with, and I had nothing to do with that whatsoever. So this is one of the reasons that I'm out here, because when you're in a poor community, you feel like you have no voice. And I spoke to him about a particular stop that he was not involved in, where it was a stolen car, or an alleged stolen car came back over the radio. The car ended up not being stolen. So by the time they searched the individual, he had a blunt, a very small amount of marijuana. I'm really not an advocate of marijuana. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any type of drugs whatsoever. But he was charged with it. But without the mistake of the stolen car, he wouldn't have been charged with the weed. And it's such a small amount of weed. Take the weed from him, go ahead and throw it on the ground and grind it in with your foot. Take the weed. It's no need to put this young man, or to bring him up on charges that a lot of states are making legal these days. So that was a concern of mine. Now, the individual that was caught with the weed, he was dead wrong for having the weed. You know, he's a young man. Young men make mistakes. Now, once he grows up and realizes, okay, I need to do something better with my life. Now he's got to fight through the rigmarole of mistakes that he made to a certain extent. Like I'm saying, weed, come on, people. And like I'm saying, if he was gramming it up and selling it, okay, absolutely, take his ass to jail. And I'm not saying put him under the jail, but make it where he learns this lesson. But he can get out in the future and pursue a life and be reasonably successful. And that's all I'm asking. But in these poor communities, there's desperation. Look, I ain't never done nothing, and then that's when desperation prompts more bad decisions, robbing banks, robbing individuals, carjackings. It's in a lot of situations out of desperation. I'm never gonna make anything out of myself. So let me get it anywhere I can. And that's the problem that I'm having with these predominantly poor neighborhood charges. They've already got a lot of things stacked against them. It's just like when I was in Iraq, Afghanistan. It's like we can't label everybody in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places that I've been, Haiti, as being bad. Some people are just bad or in bad situations, are really good people in bad situations. And it's easy to say, just let them all die. But hello? You see what I'm talking about? I just asked you guys to not call me. I just received a call like 10 minutes ago. I asked you guys to stop calling me. He just hung up. You see? So I wasn't, if you just heard that call a few minutes earlier, you might say, man, this guy's a super asshole. No, it's like I'm dealing with these guys calling 4 or 5 times a day. But I digress. Again, desperation prompts bad decisions. And like I said, kudos to Officer Watkins, because after the stop, I asked him once he gets done to give me his name and badge number. He could have gave me his name and badge number and walked away and gave me the verbal, F you. But he didn't. He came to me and engaged me in conversation, even though we didn't see eye to eye. He addressed me as a man, and we had two-way dialect, even though it was somewhat heated. I don't think it went over the top heated. It was somewhat heated, so I really want to thank Officer Watkins, badge number 192, for engaging me in that conversation. We have to agree to disagree on some of the points, but I really do, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you taking the time to actually have conversation with me after we started off not so good. And you extended your hand to me first. Now, I normally attempt to extend my hand first to gauge the officer, but you actually extended your hand to me first. And thank you so much, Officer Watkins, badge number 192, to engage me in a two-way dialect after a not so good start. I think in a perfect world, when I heard you talking to the gentleman about me, I would have wanted it to go somewhat like this. Hey, yeah, he comes out from time to time and films police officers conducting their job to make sure that we are not violating anybody's rights, whether they're white, blue, black, yellow, green, purple. And we don't have a problem with it because we're transparent and we want the public to see that we're out here to serve and protect, and we're not out here to violate or harass anybody. Now, that's a perfect world. But again, thank you, officer. And I would also like to give a special shout out to the officer that was behind me. I didn't get him on video because when Officer Watkins called for backup, approximately 4 cars showed up. And let me also compliment the police station or the police officers for when they showed up. They didn't get overly aggressive. They just showed up because they all knew who they were coming to engage with. Like I said, I was a little perturbed, and the officer, hey, what's the problem? I was like, he's basically calling me a criminal. And he says, did that upset you? I said, well, yeah, it got under my skin because I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I've done 25 years in this military defending our way of life and the Constitution, and I've earned this right to carry my firearm because of the Constitution, and I also did the paperwork to actually legally carry this firearm by the government standards. So I have as much right, if not more of a right, to wear this firearm than he does. And then the officer made a joke. I couldn't even be mad anymore. So I want to thank that officer, and I don't remember your name, officer, but I want to thank you so much for cracking that joke. And you'll hear me on the video, and I'll start laughing. And I felt silly for being upset because that's what humor does sometimes. It diffuses situations. And I want to really appreciate that officer that was a part of the backup that was called in. And he actually made me laugh, and that helped me to diffuse that situation. Thanks a lot.
Listen, hey. I know you hear me. We've gone through this before, me and you, Mr. Jackson. Please don't get any closer, okay?
Continue doing what you're doing, man. Stop talking to me.
Charlie got this, man. I got this. it doesn't come back to the car, that would be fine. I don't care that much. He's a trained job. Car 604.
Car 604.
I'm more worried about him than I am you.
Yeah, because everybody's a criminal. I earn more right to wear this gun than you. 25 years of defending this country. I have more right to wear this gun than you do. I watch more of our American men come back in body bags to defend my right to wear this gun. You ain't the only one. Everybody else is a criminal. And that's the point right here. Everybody's not a goddamn criminal. Trying to treat people like goddamn criminals. That's the problem.
Listen, I'm gonna advise you again. Watch your language, okay?
Don't tell me to watch my language.
Okay, for just a second, you don't watch your language.
Don't tell me to watch my language.
For disorderly conduct.
Disorder, you can't file disorderly conduct. And civilians got to.
No, it doesn't.
Man, get up out of here, man. You didn't have to start talking to me. He started talking to me.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good to go. He started talking to me.
Okay.
And talking about, oh, I'm more worried about him because I have a gun. I did 25 years of defending this country. I have as much as not more right to wear this gun than you do.
All right.
Trying to treat everybody like a goddamn criminal. I'm not a goddamn criminal. And I won't let anybody treat me like a criminal.
Nothing wrong with it.
Because I'm out here making sure people's rights aren't being violated. That's the problem. That's the problem for bad cops, not all cops. And we'll figure out what you are sooner or later. Don't tell me, I'm a grown ass man. I speak how I want to speak. And keep in mind, I did not say a word to him. I came up here and just filming. Didn't say a word to him. Yeah, absolutely. And what's making me heated, he had the nerve to say to the citizen, I'm more worried about him.
That what made you angry? The fact he said that?
It's the fact that he said that because, you know what, it's good people out here wearing guns for the public also. I've done more for this country than you have. Not saying that you might not do more in the future, but right now you ain't shit. Because I'm out here trying to make sure people's rights aren't violated. Ask me how many armed robberies I did in my life. Ask me how many stores I've robbed. Ask me how many carjackings I've done in my life.
I'm guessing no.
I like your attitude, man. Humor does diffuse a lot of shit. And like I said, I'm not out here to hurt you guys at all. Like I said, you guys can say, you know what? You think you just robbed a store? You're under arrest, Mr. Jackson. I'm not gonna draw you. Hell no. I'm gonna put my hands up and I'll be under arrest. And then we'll figure it out in court.
Well, I mean, you'll only be under arrest though if you actually did something. We had a problem.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Watch out of 1094.
Before you go, officer, I want your name and badge number, please.
Yeah. Officer Watkins.
Officer who?
Watkins.
Watkins, badge number?
My badge number is 192.
Okay.
This is what I meant by what I said. And I'll tell you the truth. If I'm standing there and you walk up to me and you have a firearm, would you feel, if you're an officer, would you feel more uncomfortable with the person that's standing there with a brandished firearm?
Because this is where the common sense comes in.
Tell me.
This is where the common sense comes in. Is this more dangerous to you, or a person sure, hey, look, dude, I'm armed, but here's, you see it. So I'm not here to threaten you, but to let you know that I am armed. But just so you know, I'm armed.
Yeah.
Not the person that, the people that rob banks.
Listen,
don't
take it to rob the bank. Listen,
the people that rob the banks, the guns pop out at the last minute. I won't be, you don't think we didn't deal with this over in Iraq or Afghanistan? People are.
I'm not saying you're not a great person, but I'm telling you, would you feel more uncomfortable as a police officer if a man walks up, throws down a camera, and has a firearm?
A man. Or somebody you guys are familiar with. I know you guys see my channel. I know you guys know who I am.
Yes.
So I'm not just a man.
But look, you have to understand, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to describe you any other way. You're a man.
You guys know who I am. You guys know a little bit about my history.
Yes, but I've known that I've seen you on other stops cause issues, get too close to this.
Right.
And that's all
usually the bad cops.
Only thing I asked you to do was when you got a little closer, all I said was, look, can you take a step back?
No, that's not what you said. That's not what you said.
What did I say?
Don't come any closer.
Okay, don't come any closer. What's the difference?
The difference is I know how far to get. Usually when a cop has a problem with me, the cop is usually hiding something or there's something wrong.
No, I asked you to take a step back.
I don't have to. You ever heard of prior restraint? If you don't know about it, look it up. That means police officers cannot interfere with my filming. As long as I'm not all up in your window, hey man, what's going on with you? You cannot interfere with that.
I can come and stand right in front of you.
You can, but guess what? That's called prior restraint. And you guys already got a case that's going to cost y'all some money. Do not be a part of it. That's all I'm saying.
This is my issue. This is my issue. You come out, you film us,
yes.
And then instead of doing something, we're taking things to court because you're taking us to court.
I'm taking you to court because I'm taking you to court because I got arrested for not backing up far enough. And that's nonsense because the young man that got originally stopped for being a stolen car. It turned out not to be a stolen car. The young man had weed in his pocket. The young man, the car's not stolen. He's not in trouble for a stolen car, but now he goes to jail for misdemeanor weed in his pocket.
Okay,
that's not right.
Okay, but look, is that a crime?
It is a crime, but without the stolen car, he shouldn't have went to jail for that weed.
Okay, but listen, if you run the tag, now there is a thing. You told me to look something up, and I will do it for you.
Okay, absolutely.
The good faith exception.
Okay.
The good faith exception. If we run something, it's a mistake. We have the right to make mistakes, just like any other human being does. Now, he did commit a crime, correct, by having that weed on him?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's why he is going to jail. He didn't go to jail for
we got young men going to jail for weed. that most states are trying to legalize.
Okay, but until
Now, if he was gramming it, and if he's hooking it up and he's selling it, hell yeah, take his ass to jail.
yeah.
But now the dude got a blunt on him. Now he got a, now it's costing him money. Now this and that. That's what I'm showing.
Okay, but look, that's fine. I understand. That's fine. Show everybody. But the thing is, why not tell them, look, until it's legal, just smoke it and get rid of it.
Evidently, you ain't been watching my channels. Because I've been talking about riding dirty. I've been talking about doing what you're supposed to do.
I know you do. I've seen most of your YouTube stuff. Okay.
So then that makes me not a man. I'm not a stranger. You know I'm not out here to hurt you.
No, and I know you're not. But listen, this is the thing. I want that man right there that does not know you not to look at you and go, he's got a firearm on.
But then you helped him.
But I
you helped him. Hey, I'm more worried about him than I am you.
But I am more worried about you. You have a firearm. The first person that can hurt me, you're not going to hurt me. But the first person that could hurt me would be you, correct? Would you be more faithful?
Maybe. I don't know what a man's got in his car.
Exactly. Neither do I. So I don't want to have to take my attention.
But you don't have to worry about me. And let's say that man did have a gun in his car, and this firearm comes out. Do you think he's going to help him shoot at you, or do you think I'm going to shoot at him?
You're going to help me. I know you.
Damn right I'm going to help you.
But listen, this is all we're asking. If we come out and you say, look, I know what you're doing. You filmed me before.
Yes.
You've got my car number. You've got my name. You filmed me before.
And that's why you understand. Don't take it personal.
No, and I
because I remember your face now. But I don't owe you that. Officer, let me go and I'm going to get him. Because as soon as the officer stops done, hey, and me.
Yeah, and look.
As long as you ain't punching me in my face, and I ain't punching you in your face.
I want you to take the aspect like you're doing. And tell these guys that are out here running and slinging. Okay? Yes, that officer probably, I don't know what he did. I don't know if he ran his tag and it came back, or did. Sometimes we run a tag and it's still in the system. No longer when it's been returned.
Absolutely.
But sometimes that's not on us.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right about that, officer. Whoever reported it stolen didn't get it out the system. You're absolutely right. But I'm saying now we got people that's trying to get out. I was in that hood one time before. Yeah. Now I'm middle class. I'm okay. But now you can't just dismiss me. You can dismiss him. And I'm not saying you. I'm saying the system. Yeah. And that's why I'm out here, because I can raise all the hell about, hey, I just got charged for a shotgun that wasn't at my house. And that's true life. I got charged for a sawed-off shotgun that wasn't at my house. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Well, look, that's what I'm out here for. And I'm not out here to threaten you.
No, you're not. But listen, all I say that is for a reason, okay? Because I have seen some of your YouTube stuff. Okay. I have seen some other things.
And then you know I'm fair.
And I do. But I have seen you get too close to situations and be asked to back up multiple times. I have. It happened right over on Casino Road. I know. See, I do watch it. Okay.
I've been asked.
So you gotta have me the benefit of the doubt that I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know how it's gonna go. I've never had a conversation with you. So this is the first time I've actually talked to you. Okay. So I know that you're not gonna bother us, but I want you to understand we're not out here to bother you either.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm not saying when that time was, I'm plenty far enough away.
And you might be, but listen, I don't mind if you have your firearm, and I'd rather you show it than you don't. But the thing is, I still have to watch you because I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I know you're not going to hurt me, but the thing is, you got to understand, we're police officers. Just like you don't know when it's going to go bad because it's at the last moment, right?
You damn right. It's at the last moment when it goes bad, but it's also the common sense things right there. I didn't defend this country for 25 years to shoot a cop. I don't dislike cops. I dislike bad cops.
Exactly.
So regardless if we get disagree or not, I don't just blame you as a bad cop. I just blame you as a cop that we just disagree right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the right to do that. We have the right to disagree.
We're grown men.
Absolutely. So I'm not, and that's one of the things I do. I try to be fair on my check. And hey, man, this cop did a great thing, and this here and here. There's been times I have good things and there's bad things. And you know what? I'll put the good thing up on time, and I'll put bad thing up another time. And that's what I do.
And I understand.
You know, so don't. The way you said that to that man, hey, I'm more afraid of him. Dude,
I said I'm more worried about him.
Come on, man. Well,
I did say I'm worried.
Right. But come on, now you guys know that, like I said before, I said in my videos, this gun comes out on the side of the law.
Yep, you have.
On the side of the law. Now the criminals, I fucking hate criminals. And I fucking hate people that carjack. I hate people that rob. I hate those motherfuckers. Because I tell you right now, if you guys are ever in jeopardy, one of those people is coming out on the side of the law.
And I'm glad, because listen, this gentleman right here is brand new to us.
Okay?
He's never seen you. But the first thing he asked me when we were down on the south end tonight, he's like, have you ever ran into Mr. Jackson? I said, I have. I said, he stood on one side of the street, filmed me the entire time. I actually wrote the lady citation and took her to the house.
Right, I remember that.
And we didn't ever have a problem. Tonight, all I said is, look, can you please back up? Because, look, last time I didn't see your firearm, but I know you have one every time you're out here.
Every single time it's exposed.
And I know you always want to help us, but we always think, this is our first thing we think when we come into work every day. I want to go back and see my 4-year-old son.
Absolutely.
That's how I
But I can guarantee you, Mr. Jackson has nothing to do to stop you from getting home with your 4-year-old son.
I thank you for what you do. I thank you for the service you gave our country. I wish I ain't gonna lie. I tell one thing every time, every person. If I could change one thing in my life at 24, I'd have graduated college and I would have been in the military. That would have been my difference.
You're doing your service here. And this is as important as it is over there. Absolutely. So I'm not saying that I'm any better than you. I'm saying that we all serve this country. We all serve this country in a different way.
Next time if I'm down here, I don't work down here anymore.
Okay.
I'm just down here tonight. Look, we're down here and I see you stop. Once I get done with my traffic stop, I'll come up, I'll say hey, I'll shake your hand, we'll have a conversation.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. Absolutely, officer.
You have a good night, okay?
Thank you. All right, officer.
Thanks for talking to me.
All right. Thanks. All right, thanks, officer. All right.
All right.